So, Chair, the meeting's live.
Thank you, Carol. Good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome to members of the committee, officers, and members of the public and press to this meeting of the Democratic Services Committee. It's the first meeting of the committee since the council AGM, so I welcome any new members that we have present today, and I think there are some. The first item on the agenda then is apologies for absence. Carol, do we have any?
Chair, we've Councillor David Selby has advised that he will be late, but I've not heard anything from councillors Little or Elwyn Vaughan, Little Brighouse or Elwyn Vaughan.
Okay, well, we'll record those and hope that they join us as the meeting progresses. Second item on the agenda is the election of vice chair. Carol, have we had any nominations?
Chair, we've had nomination for Councillor Pete Lewington,
Who was our
previously the vice chair.
Vice chair, yeah. If we have no other nominations.
Chair, can I just have a seconder first, please? Thank you, Debbie. Danny.
Councillor Danny, that's fine. If there are no other nominations, I think we vote with a show of hands on that one.
Yes, please, Chair.
Everybody okay with that? Thank you. Councillor Lewington, you're duly elected. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone.
Next item, a minute of the previous meeting, which is obviously some time ago. I take it we've all seen those minutes and read them. Are there any items that anybody wishes to raise? They're quite brief. It's quite a short meeting, as you'll remember. So is it your wish, again by a show of hands, that we accept those minutes? Yeah, that seems to be unanimous. Thank you. I note Councillor Elwyn has joined us. Welcome, Elwyn. And declarations of interest. Do we have any that have been declared, Carol?
I haven't received any, Chair.
Anybody got any they wish to raise at this stage?
No.
No hands being seen. That's fine, thank you. So we'll move on to the main item on the agenda, which is item 5, and that is amendments to the Constitution. This is a very big document that Clive is presenting to us today. So I'm going to hand over to you, Clive, straight away.
Councillor Pete got his hand up, Chair.
Oh, sorry. Pete?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Thanks, Clive. It was just a quick question, actually. Is this all the amendments, or are we going to get further amendments at future meetings?
Chair, I was just going to say, you beat my thunder, Councillor Pete. So I've been tasked by the end of this year to have completed a full review of all the Constitution. Okay. So you can't do everything in one go. So you got eat an elephant. You got to do it in chunks. So what Debbie and I have been through this together. We thought we'd do the section 4 first, together with the other section 16, and at future meetings, Councillor Pete and members will come back to you with amendments to other sections. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Makes sense to me, yeah.
Thank you, Clive. So away you go.
Thank you, Chair. Well, as I indicated, I've been tasked by the Chief Executive to undertake a complete review of the whole Constitution. We started with what we thought was probably the most urgent, which is Section 4 of the Constitution itself. It's the part of the Constitution which members will be most aware of because of their involvement in council meetings, and that's one of the reasons why we thought we'd start there. Chair, you'll see from the report, which starts on page 5 of the bundle. Oh, sorry, Chair. I should apologise to members that the agenda is published. We only discovered this morning that the agenda published didn't contain details of the track changes. When they went into the system, the track changes were taken off by the system and not by us, so it didn't help. And then I think sometime during the course of the morning, Carol has sent members a Word copy with the track changes on, and has in fact telephoned every single member of the committee to advise him or her that to apologise for that error to start with, and secondly to say please have a look at your email with the track changes on. So when we go through this, my reference will be to the Word version which you got sent this morning. Okay, so apologies for that. Chair, the way I've drafted the report is, well, section 4 is a very large document. There are some amendments which I've sort of considered to be almost minor in nature, and ones which I could have made myself as the monitoring officer under the Constitution, and simply reported those back to Democratic Services, as I'm in fact doing in the next report. But I thought, as I was coming to Democratic Services, I might as well do the whole thing in one go. So please forgive me if you think it's been too lengthy. But I did think that it would be useful to members to include a section, which is section 2 of the report, in which I point out the things which I think are the more important amendments which have been made, and at the same time given a reason for those amendments, so members could have sight of those in advance together with the reasons for the suggested amendment. Okay, I hope members felt that was helpful. Because otherwise the document, well, there's almost a change in every page, and well, we'll certainly need more than our 2 hours this afternoon if we're going through every single of those amendments. But I thought it'd be useful if I just put them all into, as I said, to highlight and summarise the suggested amendments. So, Chair, members, you'll see that the first amendment which I'm suggesting you need to have a little look at is the policy framework, which is Rule 4.2, and you'll find that on pages 1 to 3 of the Word document. You'll see from the report itself that the amendments which we've made to that are simply to reflect changes and repeals to legislation. It's simply looking at what we had previously, finding out that they had been repealed or changed or amended, and coming through with amendments. Chair, I'm going to take them if it's okay with you. I just ask for any questions as we go through each of them, rather than go to the end. Otherwise, it might be difficult to remember everything right at the end. So, as we go through, Chair, line by line, if you get for any questions.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. Carry on, Clive.
Chair, I can't see any hands up in terms of that. Then on to Rule 4.3, which is on page 4. Chair, you'll see that we've amended that to reflect reference to the single integrated plan, and we've also, after having done so, we've made some renumbering as well. I hope that's been helpful. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, carry on, Clive.
Then we're on to Rule 451, which is on page 5. And again, Chair, you will see that we've deleted the 451 because the legislation has been repealed. So we simply just needed to reflect change in the legislation. 462 is the next one, which is on page 6. Please forgive me, members. I'm having to flip between screens, so please forgive me. Oh, Councillor Ian.
Yes, thank you, Clive. Yeah, 4.6.2. It was just I'm not sure that the deletion is quite accurate. What's left doesn't quite make sense. That was all.
Approving or adopting the corporate strategic equality plan, the policy framework and the budget. It does make sense, Councillor Ian. Sorry.
Not to me when I read it.
Okay, so it's a function of council, and one of the functions of council is to approve the corporate strategic plan, to approve the policy framework, and to approve the budget. So they have 3 separate things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So should it
Separated by commas, aren't they?
Pardon?
Yeah,
They're separated by commas.
They are
so-
separated commas. I think it works.
Okay.
yeah, but should the comma between framework and there be taken out and then
And the budget, okay?
I don't know, because
Yeah,
English is not my greatest forte.
Sorry, Clive. I was speed reading because it's a large document. We didn't have very much time to get
yeah,
through
no
it.
problem at all. Councillor Gareth, I'm happy to add the word and I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much. Right. Then we're on to 4.18.31, which is page 23. Bear with me, members, when the computer's really
Sorry,
slow.
Clyde. Can I raise a point at 4.10?
Of course you can.
And perhaps I shouldn't be saying this as a member from Radnorshire, but personally, I think the fact that we rotate the chair across the 3 shires is not equitable. I would like to propose that we do it on 5 with on 5ths. So is it 5th or 4th? 4th, sorry. So you have Montgomeryshire, Radnorshire, Montgomeryshire, Breconshire, Montgomeryshire, Radnorshire, just to give a better balance to the mem. It's still not going to be quite right, but it doesn't seem right to me that Radnorshire gets twice the chairs that they're really due.
Councillor Elwyn, do you wish to come in on that?
Well, just as a follow-on, I tend to agree with the direction Councillor Gareth is going, but I would go a step further. I think it needs to be simplified in total. It's one Powys. The shires have gone. This is the only thing that's left over the shires, and I would think the chairs, vice chairs, etc., should be elected by full council. And stopped the procedure of those 3 shires existing.
Chair, you've got 2 separate proposed amendments, neither of which has a second at the moment, but you've got 2 separate amendments.
I'm just wondering, Clive, whether this is a bigger matter than we can decide on now without a long conversation about this. Would it be an idea if this one is is left for the time being, and brought to the next meeting?
Can I then just ask Clive? This has got to go at some stage to full council.
Yep.
But are you going to wait until you've done the full review before it goes to full council?
No, we're going to do them again.
In bits.
In bits, because if we did it all in one go, gosh, that would be a really tedious meeting for members, I'm afraid. Having done this in the past, Councillor Gareth, when we did the last full review of the Constitution, we did it in sections because that was the only way we thought that it could be possibly done, because otherwise we could be days at it and just, gosh, I think everybody would lose the will to live. Sorry.
Or we do what we did with the pension, the Welsh pension, the Welsh pension, whatever it is, where we had a member development session before before it came to full council. That's, to me, that seemed to work quite well.
Yeah, I still think we probably just need to do it in chunks, if you don't mind,
Okay.
Councillor Gareth.
Right. Okay.
Councillor Sarah?
I was just going to say that I was happy to second Elwyn's suggestion that we or motion that we got rid of the nominations from the selections from individual shires, because, as he said, we're not supposed to be shire centric now anyway. So
okay, Chair, you have a proposer and a seconder.
And Chair, I'm happy to support their proposal as well.
Okay, Elwyn, do you want to word that proposal for us?
Right, well, I haven't got the Constitution in front of me, it's on the other screen, but basically it would delete that part of the Constitution, therefore, wouldn't it?
Oh no, you just
no. So Chair, if I could recommend a wording, so the wording will be 410 will become the post. So this is in a section which sets out the functions of a meeting, and so it just means the post of chair, vice chair, and assistant vice chair, and it will be full stop after that. So we'll delete the rest of 410.
Yeah. Exactly.
No,
totally
don't you need will be nominated by councillors. Full stop.
Well, yeah, we'll okay. That's can live with that, Councillor Gareth.
Well, we
Not
just
need-
need, yeah, we, if
We
we
don't
just,
need
say, yeah, it's how they're appointed, that's all, isn't it?
Yeah, fine. Happy with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Chair, do you want to take a vote, please?
Yes, I think so. We've got a proposer and seconder. Gareth, were you? No, that's it. We're going by hand. Yeah.
I don't mind, whichever way we go.
Yeah.
I can't see Councillor Ian McIntosh. Yeah, he's shown. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Ian.
Yeah, sorry, Clive, I am here. I was just struggling to find the hand button.
No, that's fine.
I think that's
Chair-
unanimous, unless we've missed anybody who's abstained or voting against.
I think it was unanimous, Chair.
But as I'm the only Radnisher member here, can you please not tell people that I was the one who recommended it?
Well, we are broadcasting live, Gareth.
Oh, that's fine. I'm happy to broadcast it myself. Because I think it's the right thing to do.
Okay, yeah, fine. Okay,
Thank-
Clive, move on then, please.
Thank you, Councillor Gareth. Can I then move on to the next one, which is 4/18/31, which is on page 23. And I haven't quite got there yet, Chair. So my system
Okay.
is really slow. Chair, you'll see that this is just a section to allow for the receipt of questions submitted from members of the public in accordance with the public participation protocol. We've had a public participation protocol in powers for some time. It's just not been reflected in section 4. It's reflected elsewhere. So I thought we'd just include it here.
What number was this, Clive?
4/18/31, Chair. That's on page 23, bottom of page 23.
Sorry, Clive, can I take, I'm happy with that, but I want to go back to 4/15/21. Only because it's,
Okay, well, before we go back, is everybody happy with that one that Clive's highlighted?
yep.
1831, yeah, fine.
Yep.
Go on then, Gareth.
I know Brecon Beacons National Park Authority is the correct name of the authority, but we had this discussion LDP working group yesterday. Should we also name, say, Banau Brycheiniog there as well?
I think so. That can be added quite easily, Clive, can't it?
No problem at all. Thank you very much.
Just proving I read it.
Yeah.
Chair, members happy with that? Yep.
Yeah, seem to be, yes.
Thank you, Councillor Gareth. Then on to 4/19, which is on page 23/24, Chair. He says, and this is simply clarifying the procedure when extraordinary meetings are called. So the amendment, as you'll see, requires just for sake of clarity that there's a written request for the extraordinary meeting, and the request should specify the nature of the request and the reason for the urgency.
So if I read this right, Clive, the chief exec has got a right to themselves to request an extraordinary meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay. When I first read it, I thought, well, that sounds strange, but then I considered, well, perhaps that is the right way, just to say
No.
to have the recording why the meeting. Yeah.
Chair, I'm hoping I can't see any hands up. Again,
We're all in agreement, I think, Clive.
Yep.
Yeah.
thank you, Chair.
Clive, do you want me to share my screen if I can? Of the sections that you're referring to?
I think we've got some nods from members.
Yeah, I'll try and do that for you.
Thank you. That'll be useful. So the next one is 4/23/2, which is on page 26, Chair.
Sorry, which numbers, Clive?
4/23/2.
It's the notice.
Chair,
So can members see that?
Chair, you'll see the reason. I think this is a substantial amendment, not altering the actual content of the process, but simply an amendment which simplifies the process. And we thought it would be the original had everything in, but it was just you had to be a lawyer to understand it. So we thought we'd try and simplify it.
Okay, Elwyn's got his hand up. Councillor Elwyn.
Just a point of query to Clive more than anything else. You list the details of the meeting time, location, etc. I'm just aware from other conversations now that they also have to be bilingual, and with the standards. I'm just aware of the language commissioner meetings with Powys wearing another hat, and whether that has to be, whether that should be reference to bilingual agenda, whatever. I don't know.
It is a requirement. It is part of the requirements of the commission, but it's not a requirement to have it in standing orders as such. We can add it if members want, Councillor Elwyn. We can put it in, but it's not an actual requirement, provided, of course, as always, that the meetings themselves are capable of being held in bilingually.
Yeah, I think because I'm just aware of meetings and with Jane and colleagues a few months ago, where during this year, all meetings, I think they started with education scrutiny and working through the minutes and agendas will in future all be bilingual. So I think that's what.
Okay. I'm happy to do that. Thank you, Councillor Elwyn. Members happy with that? Councillor Gareth.
But surely shouldn't it be, I'm on learning skills when we haven't had the translator at a couple of meetings because that Carol's not, it's not that, it's the bilingual nature of the papers.
Yeah, there's papers I'm talking to, not Carol as a translator.
Okay, that's fine. Can I also add, Clive, we've got a duty that all meetings must be available remotely, but we haven't got a duty. It doesn't appear that we've got a duty that all meetings must be available to be in person as well. So surely shouldn't all our meetings be hybrid?
You could interpret it that way, Councillor Gareth, but the legislation only requires us to allow for the possibility of meetings to be held remotely as well, which means they can be hybrid. Yes, it's a consequence of the requirement, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the consequence that the other consequence of that requirement is running too many meetings just online.
We are having some, as members may know, we are having some chairs of some committees are trying to get as many members in person as they can to meetings. So and of course some of these apply to other meetings as well. So Councillor Gareth, I think it's sufficient as sufficiently drafted to give some flexibility there when required.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm on planning and we've had a couple of meetings where most of us have been in, and the committee is so much better in my mind.
Yeah, I think planning is a particular committee meeting that needs to be held face to face personally.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, then Clive.
Yeah, then we're on to 426.3, which is on page 31. And this is about quorum. Chair, when we were looking at this, we thought that we should add this particular item to make sure that the Constitution provided for everything. So, if during the course of a meeting, an agenda item cannot be discussed because the meeting is no longer quorate due to the declarations made by individuals, then the suggestion in this draft is for that item will be adjourned immediately, and the remaining business will continue. That's what we have been doing. But it's not contained in the Constitution, and the suggestion is that we should formalize that into the Constitution. Chair, we've got Councillor Ian got hand up.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see hands, so please bear with me now that the screen's full. Go on, Ian.
Okay, thank you. But could we just come back then to 426.1, which defines quorum at 1/4 of the membership? I was just thinking about my own community council where it's 1/3, and I'm just wondering if the level of quorum is too low. 25% seems a very low number.
We've never been non-quoted, Councillor Ian. So the answer is you might think that, but we've never been non-quoted.
Okay. Okay.
Good question though.
Yeah, but is that because we've only got it set at 25%? If it was at 33%, would we be non-quoted?
I can't tell you the answer to that, Councillor Gareth.
No, I know you
Don't have
can,
the-
but,
I don't have the stats in front of me. 25% is what most, I think, all other local authorities in Wales have.
oh, wow.
It's in the model constitution, which was prepared on behalf of Welsh Government by, believe it or not, a firm of solicitors called Bond Pierce from Plymouth.
It's just Guilsfield then, Ian, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm just going to have to. We're just going to have to change that then. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we all okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Chair, and then we're on to a question which is 428 to 436. It's pages 33 to 34 in the document, and you'll see in the report that the Constitution refers variously to councillors and members. Councillors are, of course, all councillors, but the term members include lay members. So, Chair, I thought we'd have this discussion in DSC as to whether these sections should be restricted to councillors alone, or whether the councillor would consider that it would be appropriate for lay members to have the ability as well.
Thank you for that, Clive. I picked up by 447 that I couldn't differentiate between why we were referring to councillors and members in different sections. I was a bit worried about consistency, really. So
that's the reason, Councillor Ian, is that
right.
councillors are councillors, but members, and in another part of the Constitution, includes lay members. And so in these sections, which are sections 428, starting on page 33, I thought members might just want to consider whether or not these should be restricted to councillors or open to the more wider definition, which is members.
Any thoughts on that?
Personally, I think we should differentiate between councillors and lay members and be quite specific about it, so there's no possibility of misinterpretation.
Claire?
Yeah, I'm probably leaning towards the opposite, really. I suppose if you've got lay members who are members of a committee, why should they not be allowed to ask questions arising from matters within their committee that they sit on, I suppose, is a question I would pose.
But Councillor Clare, this reflects more at full council meetings. So
I see. Okay,
so
yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
So-
I retract that then.
some parts of it relate to cabinet and committees, and you'll see the whole section is about statements for cabinet and committees. So if you go to 428 to start with, it says 428, a member of the council may ask the leader and cabinet member a question arising from a matter within the minutes. Do we think that should be open to only councillors or to the wider definition of members?
Councillor Ian?
Yeah, I
No, so
Fine.
Ian McIntosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks,
sorry.
Chair. Just to say, I think I agree with Ian really, in that we should differentiate between the two. If anything, throughout the whole constitution, so that when referring to councillors, they're referred to as councillors
I agree.
and not members.
Councillor Ian, and I agree that we should. So can we deal with this? Can we do this section by section then?
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if that needs to be proposed and seconded or whatever, but
Chair,
happy either way.
Chair, if we go through them minute by minute, so section by section. So section 428, which is on page 33.
Clive, can I just stop you for a second? Councillor Sarah wishes to come in, I think. You're on mute, Sarah.
Sorry, I'm in trouble finding it on Zoom. I would support that lay members are not able to ask without notice questions at full council.
Okay.
Is that what Ian is saying? I wasn't sure.
I think that both Councillor Ians were suggesting that we should differentiate, but didn't make a
Yeah,
specific suggestion.
but I think the differentiation. I think there is the I can't even say it. I think there is the difference with a member. I understand that, and a councillor, and I think it should say then that only councillors are able to ask last-minute questions, because I think a lay member should be asking those questions within that committee, and then if the chair of that committee feels the need, they can ask the question in full council as a councillor.
That's a different view, then, isn't it? Yeah. Gareth?
Yeah, don't we also have the position where we've got lay members that are a chair of a committee, and they may be the person presenting the paper?
Standards committee.
Yeah.
Standards committee, and also governance and audit.
Governance and audit, yeah.
So are we saying it needs to be written in my mind so they can come and actually present the paper to full council?
But this is not, this section is about questions.
Yeah, well, that's the point I was going to make, Clive, that they shouldn't then ask questions. They can present but not ask questions.
And if I can come back, it's arising from a matter within the minute. So I don't feel that if they're presenting a paper, there should be necessity for asking a last-minute question.
No, but there could be other lay members, couldn't there, as well as chairs?
Yeah, but I'm saying that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, I understand, Sarah, yeah, what you're saying.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to be rude.
No,
Aren't we all in agreement that we just say they don't ask questions?
Yeah, I think we are all in agreement with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, what are we in agreement with?
That the lay members cannot ask questions.
So
Cannot, yeah.
Right, yes, I am in agreement with that. Sorry.
That's at full council, and that's at full council, remember?
Yeah. Thank you.
And I thought that we were in agreement that we differentiate between councillors and lay members.
Yeah, you're happy to word that, Clive?
Yeah, absolutely, Chair. So in terms of this 428, which is on page 33, 420 on page 3, you'll see reference a member of the council may ask the leader question. So we're going to change 428 to councillor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. The next reference we've got is on relation to 429. It says only a councillor may ask a question, so that's okay. 429 is okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going down, Chair. 430 is in relation to notice on questions from councillors. 431 also already puts only ask a councillor may ask 2 questions, so lay members can't there. And I think that's it, Chair.
431. If you come back to 431, though, Clive, there's a reference to the middle section. It's underlined. Chair of a member may substitute an urgent question for a question that's already been raised.
And 431, we changed that to councillor as well, Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much.
Okay.
Well spotted, Ian.
We understand the way in which the committee has decided. Debbie and I will go through this with a fine-tooth comb now to make sure that we follow what the decisions you've made, Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on then, Clive.
Chair, so I'm going to go back, if you wouldn't mind, to 429A and 429C. Members will see that we've deleted those and we've moved them. And we've moved them because we felt that questions at any time should not be in a section dealing with questions at council meetings. So that's why we've done it. We haven't changed anything. We just put it in later on just to make it more sense.
And just to point out, 429A above, Clive, it's just got, you need to add Banai Becainiog, that one as well. 429A4.
429A4. Thank you very so much. Yep. So we're on to 440 now, Chair, which is on page 42.
Okay.
And I haven't got to it yet, Chair, so. Again, this is a section which we've deleted. This is a section which is about the appointment and removal of the leader. Again, we've moved this because we didn't think, and we moved it to a new rule, Rule 43, which is on pages 48 and 49. And the reason for that is it was in the middle of a section dealing with motions. So we thought it was in the wrong place.
But when I looked at 443, it looked as if that had been deleted as well. So my question was, have we deleted the same thing twice?
We should not have done
No.
that.
No, it's there.
It's there, is it?
Section 4, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So 440. Okay. Okay.
There we are. You can see it on
Okay,
the
that's
screen.
It's there.
That's fine. All right, it's my mistake.
Chair, then we're on to 441.6, which is on page 45, and you'll see we've deleted some of 441.6. We've deleted the original allowed amendments without notice. But of course, that deletes that contradicts 449, which requires amendments to be put in advance. And also, it also the original allows for late reports to council, which is not a good thing. We have members complaining all the time, and rightly so, that late reports are provided lately. So we've taken out both those matters to make sure that we A, compliant with other parts of the Constitution, and B, to provide good governance to make sure that reports are provided in a timely manner.
Okay. Everybody happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Seems so, Clive. Yeah. Move
Thank
on.
you, Chair. So we're on 448.7, which is on page 51.
Okay.
And I'm not quite there yet, Chair. Chair, there's been amendment to 448.7 and 452.1, which is page 51 and 57 respectively. Chair, the council and the chair of council has traditionally given the proposer of a motion the right to a reply at the end of a council debate. Chair, that's what's traditionally been the case with the council, but that's not been contained within the Constitution. What we're doing here is to formalise something which has been, the protocol in council for a long time. And indeed, when we were looking at it, there are other sections of the Constitution which I've indicated. So 454.5 and 6, 454.6, 454.8 on pages 60 to 62, where when dealing with motions motions on without notice to do various things, that the proposer of those does have a right. So, Chair, I'm just hoping that you can agree that we're just formalising what has been the protocol in the council for forever.
Yeah, I think we all agree with. Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I would have thought we all agree with that.
Yep.
Just tidies it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, then we're on to 449.10, which is on page 55. Members will see from that we've inserted a new rule, and that new rule allows a discretion of the chair to combine motions. Chair, again, this is something which the chair of council has done where it is pragmatic to do so. And again, it's at the discretion of the chair of council. but in terms of the constitution doesn't currently allow that to happen. But of course, the meeting is at the discretion of council, so it's always been appropriate. We're just formalising something which has always been the case.
Okay, all okay with that?
Yep.
Seems so.
Chair, I've made a few minor amendments to 454.8, which is on pages 61 and 62. That's just for clarity of purpose in dealing with closure motions. It's only for clarification purposes only. You'll just see that that those are, essentially procedural in nature, and just to clarify what the process is.
Okay.
Then we're on.
Yeah.
Then we're on to 454.84 and 454.85, and that's on pages 62 to 63. Chair, we've deleted those two subsections because they're redundant, because they no longer apply, and we just haven't made those deletions before. We should have done that.
Okay.
Chair, then we're on to 478 to 480, which is on page 77, and this is an amendment to the Constitution dealing with record of attendance, and this is simply to reflect the position, excuse me, on hybrid meetings. Chair, I can't see any comment.
No, it's fine.
No.
And then we're on 497 and 498. This is dealing with petitions, and this is to give clarity to the process by which petitions take place. We have a protocol on petitions, but this is to allow the actual petitioner to address council, rather than, as we currently have, that a councillor addresses councillor on behalf of the petition maker. So it's for clarification purposes. It's what we did on when we considered our first petition in the last council meeting. But I thought it was worthwhile simply putting that in.
Can I ask why 3 minutes and not 5?
I was just about to say that.
We're sorry, in terms of where we're at in other parts of the Constitution, the proposer of a motion has 5 minutes, and every other councillor has 3 minutes.
So isn't the presenter of the petition in effect
5 minutes?
same as the proposer? So I think it should be 5 minutes.
Yeah, I tend to agree, actually.
Yeah,
Yep.
me too.
Happy with that?
We're all happy to move that to 5 minutes?
Yep.
Seem to be, Clive, yeah.
Happy with that, Chair. We'll amend the consequential amendment to the petition scheme itself, because that does refer to 3 minutes. So, Carol, can you just make a note to yourself to amend that part of the petition scheme, please?
Yep, do that, Clive. Thank you.
Chair, and that brings us to the end of section 4 of the Constitution, and then brings us back to section 11 of the Constitution.
Before we go on, Clive, can I just ask one question?
Of course you can.
I always find it quite strange that when you have the questions from the members of the public and they come in to County Hall, they have the question, they have the response, they have asked the supplementary, they get a response to that, and nothing. No, we haven't got. We as the the general members don't have any opportunity to discuss their motion.
It's not a motion, no. It's a question.
Oh, so
isn't it?
it's just quite. Yeah. Okay.
And it's the same with members' questions from councillors, of course. If a councillor puts in a question, which to be considered at a meeting, it's simply the question, opportunity for a supplementary, and that's the end of it. It's to give parity between the two schemes.
Yeah. Okay.
Councillor Elwyn's got his hand up, Chair.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Elwyn.
No problem. Sorry, and I'm just going to confuse you a bit. I'm jumping back a bit. The reference has been made in a couple of places about the Brecon Beacons National Park nominations today. Actually, Brecon Beacons National Park doesn't actually exist. It is actually called Banau Brycheiniog now, full stop. I've double checked now actually. So after the change formalised 2 years ago.
Chair, thank you, Councillor Elwyn. As indicated previously, we're going to make that change. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but what we were told in
Yeah.
LDP yesterday, Clive, was that the formal name is still Brecon Beacons National Park Authority.
Wrong. That's wrong.
That's fine now, and I accept what you're saying.
Because that's what all the fuss was about 2 years ago.
Yeah. I just we need to get that clarity and make sure we feed that back to LDP as well.
No, it's definitely Banau Brycheiniog, and that's been accepted by Welsh Government.
Chair, before this matter comes back to council, I will have sorted that out so that there will not be any confusion.
Okay, that's fine. Chair, can I just take you back? I wanted to raise one and I missed it. Back to 439, and the rejection of motions. It says that motions may be rejected in the opinion of the monitoring officer and the chair. Now, my question there would be is who pulls rank there if if there's a disagreement, if the monitoring officer has a suggestion which the chair doesn't agree with?
Chair, you members will not be surprised to say that my view will be that the chair always takes precedence. The officer will give advice to the chair, and the chair will either follow it or not.
Should it say that in there then?
We can change that if that is the wish of DSC. Chair, I have to say, we've never had a disagreement. That doesn't mean we won't have it in the past. But we've never had so far. Councillor Ian's got his hand up, Chair.
Councillor Ian, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. This is what I think it has happened a few times in the past, and I just think the general feeling from speaking to previous chairs is that, well, this is what they have said at least, is that they were told to do this and therefore they couldn't do anything about it. So, I mean, if it is the case that chairs have the upper hand or whatever, then I think we perhaps need to be a bit more clear about that. Or if, as you just said, Clive, that they have the choice whether to take your advice or not, and if that's deemed as wrong in terms of, you know, breaching any agreement or anything, perhaps explain what the consequences might be.
Chair, I can't recall an incident where the chair and I have disagreed on any issue. So
Okay.
my memory may be fading, but I can't think of anyone. But in those circumstances, you know, members won't be surprised, as I said, the chair receives advice from the monitoring officer, and the monitoring officer will abide by what the decision of the chair is. Happy for this to be amended to read the chair upon receiving advice from the monitoring officer. Happy to do that for clarification purposes.
I would.
It would help if it's made clear just exactly where the chair stands if they choose to, you know, decide differently.
Yep.
Yeah, I have spoken to chairs on occasions and been told that they felt they had no alternative but to accept the monitoring officer's advice. So
that's not to say, Chair, that my advice has not been forthright.
So I think there is some confusion. Councillor Danny.
Thank you. Surely it depends on the situation, because there's some advice that the monitor is going to give that you have to adhere to in certain circumstances, is there not?
Well, Councillor Danny, if this is a matter which is outside the responsibility, the area of responsibility for the council, as in 439(1), I would suggest that in those circumstances, the chair would have to follow the advice of the monitoring officer. So there are some circumstances where that would be absolutely correct. You're correct. You're right.
So how would you word that into it then?
I think that if that were to happen as a monitoring officer, I would give advice to the chair about the consequences of failing to follow the Constitution, because it would be failing to follow the Constitution. The chair doesn't have a discretion in these matters. If it's not a matter for which the council has responsibility, for instance, he doesn't have a discretion really. It should be rejected.
Yeah, I think 439 itself can be changed, because the rest of that area clear up when and where those decisions have to be abided by, I think.
Yep.
If I'm
Okay.
reading that right. Everybody else agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, if we
Thank you
add
for-
that in, Clive, please.
Yeah, I've added that. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. So then we're on to section 11 of the Constitution, and you'll see from the report there are a number of changes in Rule 11.2 of the Constitution, and I wait for Carol to catch up. So this is pages 1-4 of the Constitution, and these are changes simply to reflect changes in the structure of the organisation as put in place by the Chief Executive. And there's one reference there to a change to the new Corporate Strategic and Equality Plan as well. Chair, you'll see from 1135 on pages 10 to 17 that there have been changes.
Sorry, Clive, I've got a question.
Okay, sorry,
I've got a
Councillor
point.
Gareth.
Yeah, if you look at the duties of each of the chief officers, etc., under the head of finance, no, head of school services, it actually says there's a duty there to do from budgetary responsibilities, but that's not consistent across the other duties of other officers. I think there just should be that consistency, and I would suggest that budgetary requirement is required in each of them.
I would tend to agree with you, Councillor Gareth, but what I have simply done is taken this description from the job descriptions of each of them.
Okay.
So this is a cut and paste job. And I think what I will do, Councillor Gareth, is take your recommendation back to the Chief Executive to suggest that the job descriptions for those individuals are therefore changed, and there's a process for changing them. This is not a matter for council to change a job description. And once the job descriptions are changed, we'll then reflect that in a minor change in terms of the Constitution, if that's acceptable to you.
That's fine. And before you go into 1135, I've got a point on 11.6 around the functions of chief exec.
Yep.
And I am being picky now.
Yeah, okay, Gav, go ahead with that.
Yeah. It says at the end that they may hold the post of chief finance officer if a qualified accountant. I would, as a SIPFA member, I think that should be if a qualified accountant, and I pay that member of his stroke or a professional body. Because you can be a qualified accountant without being a chartered accountant, being admitted into a professional body.
Again, Councillor Gareth, this is a cut and paste from the job description of the Chief Executive. So can you and I take this offline and
that's fine.
And then have that conversation?
Yeah.
I'm loath that council make a change to a job description which they can't really do. It has to be the other way around.
Yeah, and I'm certain, Clive, that the county council wouldn't appoint somebody as chief executive who's not a member of a chartered body, but I just want to have.
Yeah, I agree. The two must be identical.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take that comment back to the chief exec and others, and we'll deal with that, and then come back. I'll probably once the JDs have been amended to incorporate those, I'll then amend this section of the Constitution as well.
Thank you.
Chair, on 1140, which is on pages 18 to 25, simply changes to the new job titles to reflect the changes in the structure put in place by the Chief Executive Officer. 1152 to 1155, there are deletions of some paragraphs because we no longer have non-executive directors within the council. And that's on pages 27 to 28. Sorry, I'm going too fast for you. So,
for all of us.
I'm on page 27 to 28. Yeah, that's the deletions. You see, it's I've deleted the reference there.
Yeah, we all okay with that?
Yeah.
we don't have them any longer, so that should go.
Yeah.
We've done them some consequential renumbering because we've deleted a section. You've got to renumber the rest, so that there's some renumbering from pages 28 onwards. And then on page 29, there is a minor amendment to the effect that the appointment of that the heads of service are deputy chief officers under the Constitution. So we've done some minor amendments for clarification there.
Okay, we all okay? Seem to be getting away with this very easily, Clive.
Chair, gosh, this took Debbie and I hours and to deal with. So we've done all the hard work.
We believe you.
Chair.
Yeah, good. We're all happy.
Then we're on to Rule 1169, and basically the old rule was in the wrong place, so we've moved it to become 1169. So we haven't changed anything. We just moved it, Chair.
Okay.
And then rules 1172 and 1173. We've deleted those to avoid repetition, as they're already concluded in 1166 and 1167. So,
but I've still got 1172, Clive. So what page you on there?
Oh gosh, page 30. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm on page 28. Yeah, the new number is behind the old number, isn't it? That's
yeah,
fine.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair, and that is the end of the report. As I said, I've just drawn to your attention the things which I think that DSC should be considering, and I hope I've answered all your questions. And there remains a recommendation at the end of my report on page 8, which is to consider each of the proposed amendments to sections 4 and 11 of the Constitution as set out in Appendix 1 of the report, and to make such recommendations for those amendments to be considered at full council.
Okay.
Chair, so I do
You need a
appreciate.
proposer?
I'm happy to propose with the agreed amendments.
Yep.
You have a seconder?
Happy to propose.
Second.
Claire seconding. Those in favour? We all seem to be with you, Clive.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you,
Any
members.
abstentions there?
Adam Lewis.
Sorry.
Not sure who that was. No abstentions or against? No, we're fine, Clive. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. Even dealing with that in that way, it took an hour, and so I'm grateful for you giving the time for consideration of that section. Chair, we then move on to item 6 in the agenda, which is simply for me to report to the Democratic Services Committee any amendments, any minor amendments which I've already made as a monitoring officer and in accordance with the Constitution. You'll see that from paragraph 2.1 of the report that some sections of the Constitution have been amended to refer to the new Data Protection Act of 2018 as opposed to the old Data Protection Act of 1998. So those amendments have been made to sections 3, 4, and 17. And you'll also see, Chair, from paragraph 2.2 of the report that I've made some minor amendments in terms of changes to the organizational structures in sections 11 to reflect changes in the structure put in place by the Chief Executive. Chair, the Constitution allows me to do that, and simply to bring those amendments to the attention of Democratic Services.
Yeah, purely for us to note.
Chair.
Nobody got any, or anybody got any questions on any of that? No. All happy with that, Clive? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Then we're on to item 7 on the agenda, which is a review of the council's petition scheme. So in the documents which you'll have received, that you will see the council petition scheme, and there's a summary of it in the report itself. Chair, and you'll see from the report that in section 3 of the Constitution, we're asking the Democratic Services Committee to consider 3 specific questions. And those are petitions on local issues. So under the current scheme, a petition with over 500 signatures is debated in full council. It's suggested that such petitions should be presented to the relevant portfolio holder and the leader and the head of service for them to respond as appropriate, as this would be more appropriate where those issues are local issues. That's the first suggestion. So do you want to deal with them one at a time, Chair?
Yes, please, Clive.
What do members think? Councillor Gareth, you're on mute.
I've lost everybody.
We've got Councillor Clare and Councillor
Councillor
Danny.
Clare. Go on, Clare.
Yeah, how do you define what's a local issue? Because something might be particular to a particular locality, but has potentially wider issues. How would you define what a local issue would be?
Those issues which pertain only to a particular locality and have no wider issues. I think you summarised it in your question, Councillor Clare.
I was going to ask the same thing actually. When you say local, do you mean ward specific or parish specific? Or,
This would be ward specific and perhaps even town or village specific.
Okay.
Okay. Claire, you happy with that?
Yes, for now.
Okay. Councillor Gareth?
You're still on mute, Councillor Gareth.
Sorry, it's because I've got a dog barking half the time. Should you consider to describe local by putting a radius on it?
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I should be saying that. I'm linking it back to like a sheepdog trial where you have a local competition. You can only work if you live within a radius of X number of miles.
Mm.
Can I just quickly ask as well, does this exclude then something that might affect the whole of Paris, for argument's sake?
No, it's not. It's not a local issue then.
Right. Okay.
And would the petitioner have the opportunity to make representation to say it's not a local issue? It's a. I suppose you'll know that from the petition, though, wouldn't you?
You'll see it from the face of the document.
Yeah. So, what if somebody brought a petition to council on the development of the proposed wind farm on Aberedo Hill, had more than 500 signatures, but that's a factor that's going to affect a lot of powers?
I think it's not a local matter then, is it? Because it affects a wider audience.
Okay.
But it's a local area.
I think it affects those within a local area, affects those within a local area only.
Confusing, this one.
Yeah, it is. I think it'd be very difficult to determine a figure. I know as a local area by mileage, wouldn't it? I mean, it'd be a nightmare for us as a council to police, for instance. Councillor Clare.
Yeah, I think this is the nub of it, really. It's putting in local issues without a bit of a definition is open to problems, I think. I suppose I'm coming back to the only petition that the council has had was that speeding, wasn't it, in a specific part of the county. Now, presumably that is a local issue because you were talking about speeding through Cray. I'm guessing, so that doesn't necessarily, I kind of get that point, but I suppose there are going to be other issues potentially that are brought because they're deemed to be a local issue, but potentially have county-wide ramifications. And I'm just wondering, we just need to be very careful around the wording of that. Does that need to be something like that in the view of the monitoring officer has only local issues, or something, some sort of safeguard that isn't? I wouldn't want a situation where you know, a portfolio holder or a service lead just decided, oh, that's not got wider council implications, when maybe some members would disagree. You know.
Chair, member, I think we should be. I think that's a really good point, and again, it should be the chair of council upon receipt of advice from the monitoring officer. That's I think would address Councillor Clare's issues. I hope Councillor Clare.
That's the Danny.
I suppose if it's a wider issue, but well, I don't know how to word it really. If it was an issue that was more widespread than a local area, you could end up with multiple petitions over 500 signatures each. What would be the protocol then?
Well, each petition is looked at individually. And I think, Councillor Danny, you're right. You look at the wording of the petition in those circumstances.
I think I'm more baffled than I was to start with.
Yeah, is anybody proposing any changes to this, or?
I think I'd like to go back to some sort of definition, maybe to be consistent with, like, if the chair and the monitoring officer decide whether a motion goes ahead, whether that is some sort of safeguard as to whether or not this is actually a local issue or not. Because I think just having local like that is potentially open to abuse. and yeah, we don't want that.
Councillor Clare, happy to consider that if that's what Democratic Services considers appropriate.
Yeah, so are we suggesting this goes back, or for Clive to make amendments now?
Well, again, it's about being open and transparent, isn't it? It's you stand the risk of, I don't know what the word is.
So members, can I ask the question? Do we think that it was a good use of council time to deal with the Cray petition?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Okay. But that was a local matter. But Councillor Gareth says, what you're on mute again, Councillor Gareth. So, but was it though? The answer is yes, it was local. It regarded a really narrow section of road.
Yeah. Gareth, do you want to come back? Go on, Gareth.
I was going to say I don't think it's that narrow there, but it's a very fast piece of road. That's the issue, and it does go. I suppose it does go now as you get towards Sennybridge a little bit, but yeah. But you know, but I would argue that wasn't local because that affected a lot of users. You know, anybody traveling between Brecon and Uster-Gunlais will be traveling along that road.
Okay.
But it was, I think it was how it affected the local population, though. I thought that was their case. Councillor Sarah?
Yeah, I'm a bit confused as well. So what you're saying, Clive, is that petition, I think it was just agreed that in this committee now that we thought it was a worthwhile petition to discuss in full council. But what you're saying is with the wording that you've got in the constitution now, that wouldn't come to full council in future, would be decided, yeah, by it. Is there, I do agree that we need, as Claire said, some sort of safeguarding around that things are not dismissed by sort of portfolio holder or leader, head of service, and that we might have gone along within full council. So whether that is, you know, that yourself and the chair needs to provide guidance on whether it needs, you know, whether it should be considered and decided whether it comes to full council. and whether the local member is involved. And because even when Claire first mentioned the Cray thing, and I thought, well, I felt that I was affected by that speed thing, but then I can also see there's another side of it that I wouldn't put, but I could be affected, because if I was involved in an accident because of the speed on the road, I would be affected. But ultimately, yes, it does affect the residents in that area, the speed that people are travelling. So it's very, very broad, isn't it?
Chair, can I just make one comment before bringing Councillor Danny in? Chair, that matter was, that petition was delayed being processed properly. Not properly, but delayed in process because the petition scheme says it had to go to full council. The same result would have I think would have happened, and clearly from the debate which took place in the chamber and the concessions that were made by the director for place and also the portfolio holder, that same result could have been achieved much earlier and improved safety much earlier had the petition scheme allowed it to be considered by somebody else other than full council.
Yeah, Danny, do you want to come in first? Go on.
Yeah, thank you. Well, up until Clive just said what he said, I was going to propose that it's left as it is, on the grounds that it's presented at full council for more people to hear and debate, more experience on the issue. But if Clive's saying that the last time it did that, it delayed what was happening, I'm not so sure now.
Yes,
And
but-
that happened
sorry.
on that particular occasion. So the Carol will be able to tell you the date when the Cray petition was received, and the date when we went to council was months and months after. If the petition scheme had allowed for it to be dealt with by officers more appropriately, that matter could have been dealt with earlier and safety improved earlier. That's my view.
Isn't there a danger, though, that the matter may have already gone to the portfolio holder and not been dealt with, or the head of service, and they're not satisfied with the response they're getting? So we'd be taking, by changing the wording on this, we would be taking that opportunity away from residents. In many cases, how urgent is it that it's dealt with immediately? I think I'm not happy with this one personally. Gareth, and then Ian, and then Sarah again.
I'm just wondering, is there a compromise that we go as Clive suggested, with that the chair and the monitor officer makes that decision, but then the petition, the notes from the meeting of the head of service, etc., is then taken to the relevant scrutiny committee just for notes, just for information, so they can actually comment on it. Clive doesn't like that, I can tell.
Also, would it be any quicker?
But Clive is right. But if you look at the papers, this one came in 24-25 when we discussed it in Q2 of 25-26.
Okay, Ian.
Thank you. Yes, I'm just thinking about the speed limit reduction through the Groyce on the A490, that project where there was a great deal of resistance by highways initially to look at it seriously, and in the end we didn't need to bring it to full council because we were able to gather the required level of evidence to actually make to actually come up with an appropriate solution, and that's now gone through. So I think that I was just very surprised that for the particular issue at Cray, I'm just surprised that safety issue has not been addressed for so long. I mean, why, with something that clearly was a safety issue, hadn't it been addressed?
Chair, Councillor Sarah's got a hand up, and then can I come back in with
Sorry,
potential
Sarah, go
solution?
ahead. Yeah.
I'm just getting more confused the more people are talking, to be honest. For sake of time, I propose we go with what the wording in the Constitution, that it's dealt with by the portfolio holder and head of service initially, if that's a quicker process. I'm sure, is it right for appeal?
So, Councillor Sarah, you stole my thunder, because I was going to suggest a compromise whereby if the outcome of the decision by the portfolio and head of service was not acceptable to the petitioner, that they would then have the right to go to full council. So thank you very much for coming to the same conclusion as me.
I'm happy with that. Danny?
Yeah.
Would that not just delay the process of it going to full council when it could have done in the first place?
Yes, but hopefully, Councillor Danny,
Hopefully.
you would hope that the issue should be properly resolved by the head of service and the portfolio holder in the first place. You would hope so, wouldn't you? As Councillor Ian said, his issue was resolved in that way.
Are we happy for that to be the recommendation?
Yeah.
Clive adds that?
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're there, Clive.
Thank you very much, members. It was really important that we have that discussion. So I really do appreciate the input which members have had to that. So thank you very much. The second item issue is relating to the petition scheme, referring to it being rejected on the basis of a petition being on the same issue being received in the last 6 months. Chair, the suggestion is that needs to be amended to reflect the fact that it should be rejected if the same issue has been debated in council in the previous 6 months period. That's just for clarity. I think we would all try it and interpret it that way, but that's not what it says. It does say for a petition in the last 6 months. So my suggestion would be we clarify the situation and amend it to say if it's been debated, whether it's by a petition or by a motion or somewhere else, if it's been debated in council, it shouldn't be allowed if the same issue has been discussed in the last 6 months.
Yeah, so that's bringing it in line with the motions then.
It does, yes.
Okay.
Makes good sense, that. I think everybody else agreed. Good, that's fine, Clive.
Chair, and the third item comes from a recommendation from the Standards Committee. Chair, Councillor Ian was there, I think, when we looked at this, Councillor Ian, and the members may or may not be aware that for the last 2, perhaps 3 years, a representative or lay member of the Standards Committee has been in attendance at council meetings and reports back to the Standards Committee on how meetings go. And one of the recommendations in relation to the law to it was that there should be no visual representations should be made at council meetings when a petition is being debated. The current scheme doesn't say that, but that was the recommendation from Standards. So that's what I would hope that you members would consider and give their views on, please.
Sarah?
Why?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Chair, I'm not going into the specifics of that particular case because it would be unfair to do so. But it wasn't there wasn't the petitioner who was putting a presentation up. It was a member of council who was doing it, and that was considered by the Standards Committee to be inappropriate, and hence the recommendation to Democratic Services.
It's a bit unclear. I'm not quite sure what you're saying.
Are
they singling? Are they naming some? I don't know. I don't know what.
Chair, it's not appropriate for that discussion to take place. It was just a recommendation that it did not look appropriate to the members of the Standards Committee that a visual presentation was made during the course of the debate by a councillor, not by the petitioner themselves, but by a councillor, and it was felt inappropriate.
Right.
So, so my question would be, Clive, was that visual presentation presented as part of
No.
the petition?
No. It was put up during the course of the debate amongst councillors.
So could it be amended? And if there was so what's the view of Standards if the petitioner also had a visual presentation?
My view about that, Councillor Gareth, in the absence of silence. Sorry, Carol's trying to speak to me. Why aren't you speaking to the meeting, Carol?
She's shy.
No.
The information that the Standards Committee was which the councillors put up, but that was nothing to do with the debate about.
So why is it in here then?
It's because the last petitioner wanted to put pictures up, and we said no because we don't do presentation.
Chair, I apologise. I seem to have this totally and utterly confused, and I've confused myself as well. The issue is about visual presentations by the petitioner, and this was a recommendation in relation because in planning committee visual representations aren't allowed. So that's what it was. I apologise for confusing the matter, and I should have discussed that with Carol beforehand. Sorry.
But in planning committee, we have visual presentations made by the officers.
By officers, but not by
not by the people coming pro or against. Yeah.
So to put it in line with planning committee. Danny,
so perhaps that needs to be said in the document then, Clive, to bring in line with other committees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, originally I was going to say that I thought we needed more information around this to decide, which we've now got some. But I think, like Gareth, it does need making clearer what it actually means, because it's a bit vague.
I think the wording should be no visual presentations should be made by the petitioner at council meetings. So it's to bring it in line with planning. So that if that is what the committee feels is appropriate, that's what we'll amend it to.
We're all in favour of that?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you.
Sarah, are you happy with that? I know you're.
Yeah, my only thing would be is if I'm happy to go along with that if that's what it is in planning and you follow in route with that. I wouldn't want to have a presentation or a visual presentation that identified anybody that was could be sort of discriminatory. But if it's a visual if it was a visual image of say an area to give people a better understanding, I don't see there's an issue with that. I'm not sure.
Chair, you recall when we did Cray, there were pictures provided in advance. That's not the same as having part of a presentation.
Right. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, then I think we're all happy with that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Clive.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. Chair, what I will do is, if it's okay with members, I'll make some amendments to the recommendations in this, and it's to make sure that this committee agrees with the recommendations we made. And before it goes to council, I'll ask members of this committee to confirm that the amendments are the appropriate ones which we've agreed. Okay, so they will be reflected in the minutes of this meeting. But with the minutes, I'll have a revised version of this available for members to look at, make sure that they agree with what's been put.
I think that will be appropriate, Clive. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. I I don't think there are any other matters on the agenda, Clive, are there? That you wish-
No, Chair. Thank you very
No.
much for this afternoon. And once again, can I thank members for the consideration which they've given to these matters? It's really, really important and really grateful for your input.
Councillor Sarah, do you have your hand
Yeah,
up?
sorry, can I just ask one question? I know this meeting was supposed to be in yesterday and it was changed. Can I ask, it says there was a diary clash. I couldn't see anything in the diary yesterday. I understand that might be with other people, you know, with people within this committee, but it's really difficult when you're working to sort of change things. I don't even know when the date, you know, when it was changed either.
Councillor Sarah, there was a clash with a meeting of cabinet, and because cabinet CLT, where I was required to attend, and because I was required to attend that, I couldn't be at DSC as well. So I had the discussion with the chair of council, and the chair kindly agreed to change it. We did this about 3-4 weeks ago, Councillor Graham.
It was, yeah. I think.
Yeah.
So apologies for any confusion. We do try to avoid clashes, but this one just happened. So I'm sorry for that.
No,
I think
and can I just say, I've managed to change things around that I can be here today, but it isn't easy. And when you know you're being asked by standards about your attendance, it's quite difficult. And I think things like this need to be taken into account.
Yeah, I agree. It was unfortunate, but I'm afraid when Clive came to me with the reasons, there wasn't much alternative really. I'm sorry on this occasion, Sarah. I think Claire, you wish to speak?
Yeah, it was only a quick plea to Clive before he disappears. When we finish this meeting, as we look like we're half an hour early, if I could just have a quick Teams call. I've got a question about Section 7.
No problem at all.
Of the Constitution. So whilst I've got you, and I don't know if Councillor Gareth wants to join me on that as well, because it'll be something we've been both talking about. But yeah,
Shall we just stop on to this call then?
I know, but we
need to come out of this public.
Yeah.
We need to come out of the public session and then just hop onto a call if that's okay.
I'll give you both a call once the meeting ends. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just before we close the meeting, then I think it'd be appropriate to thank Clive, Debbie, and the team for all the hard work that's gone into these reports. I mean, it's an enormous amount of work and detail that you've had to go through, and we do thank you very much for that, Clive.
Thank you, Chair. And I'm sure I'll pass. Be confident. I'll pass that message on to Debbie as well. So thank you, members.
If you
Can I just check, Chair? Clive mentioned at the start we've got other sessions around the Constitution. Are they already in the diaries?
The answer is I'm not sure, Councillor Gareth, but I hope so, and we will make sure that they are put in and kept to in terms of the dates. The Councillor Sarah's not inconvenience, and apologies for Councillor Sarah.
Yeah, thanks for that, Clive, and thank you all for attending today.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Chair.
Bye.